The Dutch Brigade was a unit of the Royal Army of the Kingdom of Holland. It was sent out in September 1808 by King Louis Bonaparte at the request of his brother Emperor Napoleon of France, to take part in the Peninsular War on the French side. The brigade, under the command of Major-General David Hendrik Chassé, was made part of the so-called German division. The division also consisted of units from the Nassau, the Baden and other German allies of the French Empire under command of the French General Leval. It was, in turn, part of the 4th French Corps under command of Marshals Lefebvre and Sebastiani, and was later part of the 1st Corps of Marshal Victor. The brigade distinguished itself initially in several major battles, and was later employed mainly in counter-guerrilla warfare. After the annexation of the Kingdom of Holland by the French Empire in 1810, the brigade was formally decommissioned and its personnel, now French subjects, absorbed into the French 123rd Line Infantry Regiment, and later into the 130th Line Infantry Regiment, the other battalions of the 123rd back home being reassigned to the Russian campaign of 1812. Formation of the brigade. On 17 August 1808, Emperor Napoleon of France sent a peremptory demand to his brother, King Louis of Holland, to furnish a brigade for service in the campaign in Spain. It was to include a cavalry regiment of 600 horses, a company of artillery with 3 guns and 3 howitzers, 3 battalions of infantry with a total of 2,200 men, and a detachment of miners and sappers, for a grand total of 3,000 men. The brigade was to consist of veteran soldiers, and was to march within 10 days of receipt of the demand. King Louis always tried his best to defend the interests of his small kingdom. Generally, his policy was to drag his feet when it came his brother's demands. In this instance he found it politic to comply immediately, despite the fact that the small Dutch army had already sent 6,000 men to Germany. The Minister of War, General Janssens, and the Commander-in-Chief, Marshal du Monceau, recommended Major-General David Hendrik Chassé as commander of the new unit. Chassé's staff would consist of Colonel A. Like Lamar Holt as commander of the infantry, Major F. C. Steinmetz as commander of the artillery and sappers, Colonel O. F. von Goes as commander of the cavalry, Captain H. R. Trippies commander of a company of horse artillery, and a field ambulance under command of Surgeon G. Sebel. Lieutenant Colonel Vermeulen would serve as Chief of Staff, assisted by Captain of Horse Van Zulen van Nijevel. Organizing the brigade proved more difficult. Initially, the 1st Battalion of the 3rd Regiment of Jaegers, encamped in the province of Zeeland, was selected for the brigade, but it turned out that the regiment was so devastated by Zeeland fever that most of its members were unfit for duty. The army leadership therefore had to replace this battalion with the 2nd Battalion of the 4th Regiment of the Line, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel C. L. von Pfaffenrath. The other infantry battalion designated for the brigade, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel A. W. Storm de Grave, came from the 2nd Regiment of the Line in Groningen. Problems with equipment and lack of basic supplies, including shoes, also hindered the speedy deployment of the brigade. On the other hand, the cavalry, 4 squadrons of the 3rd Regiment of Hussars, was available immediately. These troops, 2,200 of the planned 3,000, eventually concentrated near Bergen-op-Zoom for the March of France, on the 2nd of September 1808. The remaining 800 would follow later. However, on the 1st of September part of the infantry rioted because of arrears in pay. The government hastily arranged an advance, which restored the peace. The brigade was sent off on the 2nd of September by Marshal du Monceau personally.